Well, let's talk to Mark Glenn with Crescent and Cross Solidarity Movement, joining us from Idaho via Skype. Thanks for joining us. Mr. Glenn, the United States speaks of teaching Syria a lesson, holding it accountable for what it claims chemical weapons use by the administration of Bashar Assad. I mean, well, good morning, America. I mean, why isn't it this case that America should be held accountable for the WMDs it has used over half a century ago?
Absolutely. Leave it to the United States to utter such a completely hypocritical statement that another country, another power has to be held account for using the same kinds of weapons, or being accused of using the same kinds of weapons that the United States has literally been using now for 20 years, and not just the United States, but Israel as well. Where are all the tears for the children of Gaza who were incinerated with banned weapons, just as Barack Obama stated in one of his recent press conferences that the presidency of Bashar al-Assad had used banned weapons? Where are all these tears? Where is all of this? Where are all these war preparations to be used against Israel for what Israel did during Operation Cast Lead, where it killed several hundred children, incinerated them with banned white phosphorus? So, as I said, leave it to the United States to utter such a hypocritical statement and to maintain such a hypocritical position as this.
And on top of that, the U.S. speaks of having evidence of chemicals being used by the Syrian government. I mean, well, where is that proof then?
Well, that proof is the same proof, I suppose, that Saddam Hussein was constructing weapons of mass destruction. It's the kind of proof that they come up with in their own minds in order to justify their war crimes. There will be no such proof. I think back to the time when Secretary of State Colin Powell went before the United Nations and gave this ridiculous presentation showing these supposed mobile chemical weapons factories that later were proved to be an absolute farce, an absolute lie. That in itself was a war crime, the fact that the United States went before the world body and made this case based upon lies that resulted in millions of people being killed. So we'll never see the proof if anything happens. This is the way that the West works. This is the way that Israel works. By way of deception, we shall do war.
And in light of the fact that the Congress might approve of another war on Syria, what would the consequences be of an illegal war, which the UN says if it happens without a UN mandate, it is illegal? What would be the consequences of such a war?
Well, the consequences would be further discrediting of the United States, if we even have any credit left in terms of world opinion. We would brand ourselves as a completely lawless state that has no respect whatsoever for any law, international law, or whatsoever. But I would not hold out I would not withdraw the possibility that indeed the Congress will not approve this and that Barack Obama will not go to war. I realize at this time this sounds like a crazy thing when we look at all of the buildup to war, but it is entirely possible that this thing has been ginned up deliberately so that Barack Obama would be able to make for himself an easy exit out of a very difficult situation. I mean, look, we are staring down the barrel here against the Russians. It's very possible that this thing, if it continues in Syria the way that it has been, that we could find ourselves going to war against Russia. I think Barack Obama is looking for an out, and I think that it is entirely possible that the gig is up, that it's already been arranged that there will be no attack on Syria, and that Obama will be able to go before the world body, and more importantly, before Benjamin Netanyahu, and to say, look, we tried, but you know, the rule of law has spoken here, and I cannot engage in military activities outside of a congressional declaration of war. So I wouldn't leave this out of the possibility as of yet. There is still hope.
Of course, very briefly, so do you think Obama will take that into consideration, what you said in his Tuesday night speech?
I think that what is going to happen is that Congress is going to have to say no to this, at which point Obama will have his exit in this very difficult situation where he will be able to go not just in front of the American people, but in front of the entire world, and more importantly, in front of Benjamin Netanyahu, and to say, well, we tried, but the rule of law has spoken. And I think that if Congress does not give him the authorization that he appears to be desiring, that I don't think that there will be any attacks on Syria.
Indeed. Well, we'll leave it there for the time. Many thanks to Mark Glenn with Crescent and Cross Solidarity Movement from Idaho. Thanks for your time there, sir.